It's time to do the brakes on our 2006 Chevrolet Malibu LT. The set that has failed didn't even bother squeaking. The squeakers just, I don't know. I think the hardware kit may have been left out by whoever did the brakes last time. We went from nice, normal, no nasty sounds brakes to grinding all of a sudden. I ordered some rotors, pads for the rear, rotors, pads for the front from Rock Auto. These are how they came in. Okay, you need to see this. This was how FedEx shipped these to me. Actually, they were in an even much more destroyed box. The freight handlers at FedEx were apparently gorillaing these things. So, well, let's get to putting these on, because the good thing is these products are durable. They're not going to be harmed by smashed boxes and being left out in the rain, although I am a little concerned with these rotors being a little out of round. However, they cannot possibly be worse than what's on the car. So let's give it a shot. I don't know if you can see how thin that is there, but there's hardly any pad left. So, this has got to come off. I know I've been grinding into the rotor in the back here. So the rotor's got to come off, which means the caliper and the caliper bracket have to come off. First the caliper. This bolt here, which is right there, have to come off. On the passenger side, the wrench has to go up. It's going to be a little hard, so I'm going to whack it with a hammer. And I can't do that one-handed, so I'm going to have to set you down. Okay, now that they're loose, let's take the bolts out. It's starting to rain on me, so we may abbreviate this video a little bit, but let's see if I can't get that caliper off. Nope. So what I'm going to have to do is compress this a little bit. I got to go in there and pry that pad back a little bit. Alright. So that I pulled back a little bit while wiggling the caliper, and now the caliper's free more or less. We're going to move the caliper over here and support it like so. The big deal is we don't want the caliper to hang on that brake line. So, all right. Now, this bolt here and this bolt here have to come off, and the caliper bracket will come off. Okay, with both bolts removed, the caliper bracket just drew straight out. I pulled the pads off, and these are apparently the OEM rotors, which is really impressive considering this car has 160,000 miles. But you can see those star retaining clip things. We need to grab those with some pliers and rip them off. Okay, since those rotors were trashed, and I'll show you in a minute, what I did was I rotated till the lug with the clip on it was facing the empty space where the caliper was. Just got behind it with a hammer and knocked it out. No big deal. That's the trashed rotor. The new rotor is coated with oil, so we have to clean it before we install it. Solvent we're going to use is CRC brand brake parts cleaner. Got your nozzle. I'm going to switch hands because I'm right-handed. And we're just going to hose down the back side of the rotor. And then grab the rotor, slide it on to, well, I'm going to line it up and slide it on these wheel studs. You can see down there. This goes a lot easier, there we go, when you're not trying to operate a camera at the same time. One thing to remember on those bolts and those bolts, the ones for the caliper bracket and the caliper to the caliper bracket, make sure you use fresh thread locker. Something you should be aware of on the rear brakes on many GM vehicles, not all, but many, you can see that funny looking piston for the caliper. That has to be wound in, screwed in. They sell a special tool for it. I don't have. What I'm going to use is some long nose channel locks, and I'm going to turn it with that. Takes some work. Be careful you don't hurt yourself, but that's what I do. So this tab here is to go. I've already got this side assembled, but if you can see on the inside pad towards the bottom, because as this drags, this is going to get pulled into the rotor first. That's where your worst wear is going to be. There's the old outside pad. There's the old inside pad right there. These were installed backwards, so the squeakers never worked. That's your wear indicator, which is nicknamed a squeaker. That's what makes that screeching, squeaking sound when your brake pads wear down. If they're installed wrong, it'll do like this car did. It had the original rotors, but somebody threw pads at this thing at some point. And, well, we had that failure there. So make sure you install them correctly. There it is. Now we move on to the other side after buttoning this wheel back up. And then we do the front brakes. Now that we've moved on to the front, you can see it's just a plain piston. Same as on the rear. We don't want it to dangle, but we're going to take a big pair of slip joint pliers and we're going to squeeze that together. And when I said big pair, I meant big. Okay, I can't do this one-handed. Sorry, guys. Full disclosure time. I never did finish up the brakes on this car. The fronts are working okay. The rotors are still out around and they pulse when I stop, but I know what the problem is. I ordered the brake rotors and the brake parts as a kit for a 2006 Chevrolet Malibu 4-wheel anti-lock brakes. I ordered this off of rockauto.com. They didn't specify, or at least I didn't see where they specified the size of the rotors, the diameter of the rotors. Well, come to find out, the rotors they shipped me for the front were 276 millimeter. The ones that are actually installed in the car are 296, which means there's 20 millimeters size difference, 2 centimeters. And, you know, well, that's for your whole, diameter there. Which means that I'll have a full centimeter of pad beyond the outside edge of the rotor. That would radically cut back on my braking power, and that's just not acceptable. So I've ordered the new brake rotors, along with some other parts this car needs. When I was in there doing the brakes, I noticed the tie rod ends were getting kind of loose, and that's also not acceptable. So I've ordered tie rod ends, both inners and outers. I've got the tie rod tool, and you're going to get a video on using, it's going to be the cheap Harbor Freight tie rod tool, because it's what I got, but I'm going to get you a video on using that particular tie rod tool to replace those inner tie rods. So bear with me. You got some interesting stuff coming up. If you like my videos, remember to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Feel free to go back into the old catalog by clicking my channel and then clicking on the videos link. There's lots of decent stuff back there you may be interested in. And like I always say to you folks, be busy, be productive, be safe, but most of all, be blessed. I'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching.